Yo, yo, welcome back to another episode of Halftime Hangout, hosted by me, Jack Hansel. There's no guest today, and it's real quick. I don't know why this is so zoomed in. I'm kind of new to this stuff, but I'm gonna fix that. I really hate that I'm so zoomed in here. I'm kind of far away from my computer. I'm like reaching all the way out. But sorry for the hiatus. It's been a while since I did one of these. I'm probably gonna upload one. I'm gonna record one right after this and upload one tomorrow. But this episode will be about the Kevin Porter trade, the Nets, and the Hawks, more specifically the John Collins Trae Young situation. And the next one that you will see tomorrow will most likely be about my fellas, the Timberwolves. We suck, and about the Jazz and how I'm completely wrong about the Jazz. Shocker. But let's get right into this, and I want to start with the Kevin Porter situation. The Cavs traded Kevin Porter after his off the court issues for just a second round pick. I know he had off the court issues. I thought it was really light though. I thought Kevin Porter is a little bit more deserving than more than 1 second round pick at least. So the Rockets, I feel like got a pretty good deal to this. Kevin Porter has shown he hasn't played this year, but last year he showed a lot of signs of score, especially late in the season. He had a lot of high teen games, a couple 20-point games, and one 30-point game, I believe. So he showed a lot of signs of score. And the only problem I see with this trade is Kevin Porter does not have the best shot selection. He takes a lot of contested pull up threes, um, threes that just people are just all in his face. I don't say contested already, but all in his face. He pull up mid rangers. He goes a little out of control when he drives to the basket. So he's not the best shot selection type of guy. But if you believe in Steven Sealaw and developmental staff like I do in the Rockets, I think this trade could work out. If he can become a catch and shoot type of guy, I think it'll be good. But the reason why I just don't see him being able to get the shots that he wants to shoot is you have John Wall already, Victor Oladipo. They're probably going to they stagger minutes a little bit. Eric Gordon as well. They all come off the dribble and shoot, and they're all just flat out better players than Kevin Porter Jr. is. But hold on, okay. But yeah, they can just if they can get the developmental staff there and change his play style a little bit, and it's going to be one up to him because we all know his off the court issues. He's had off the court issues in college, so he's kind of a mixed bag. And part of being an NBA player is you got to be a joy to be around, joy to play with. So it's up to him as well. That's my only issue though, is that changing his game style may disgruntle him, just like the Cavs. So he might never be fixed. I will say he has shown some good signs though. In college, he shot 40% from three. This last season, he shot 34% from three, 72% from the line. So he's shown some good signs of being a scorer. I think he can be a high teen scorer. His efficiency is a little all right, I guess. It's nothing crazy, nothing. It's not that good, but it's not terrible either. So it's whatever. And I think he can get into a catch and shoot type of role. He has great athleticism. He can pretty quick, good wingspan, good length. Like I said, quick. So he has potential to play defense. I think he can be a good fit on any team if he learns to shoot the ball more efficiently, with better selection. Like I said, be locked on defense. It could. I think it's for 1 second round pick. It's a very low risk, but very high reward potential for the Rockets. I think they could really help the team, especially for the direction they are going in. I think they still have a chance to be a very competitive team. Maybe get that 10th spot. I don't know. They're pretty far behind right now, but we'll see. It's iffy with them. Now, next thing I want to talk about is the Nets mostly. The Nets, I really, really overrated the rest of the roster. I thought rim protection with Kevin Durant and DeAndre Jordan be enough. DeAndre Jordan is just not good anymore. He complete shell himself. If you play him more than 15 minutes a game, then you're just not gonna get the best of him. He can give you a solid JaVale McGee 15 minutes a game. That's all I can give him though. Like after that, it's just becomes mismatches. He's very limited outside the paint with his arms up. So he's not the guy. Kevin Durant, I thought he was going to be a little more locked down defense. Maybe he's just saving it for the playoffs. I get that as well. But the defense is not good. They can't guard anyone on the perimeter either. I thought Jeff Green would be good enough. I mean, a big problem was they played at night though, so we'll see how much Bruce Brown plays. But last game against the Cavs, Colin Sexton was just going wild, as we all know. He looked comfortable the whole time. He got whatever shot he wanted almost. He did a couple contested shots, but he almost got whatever shot he wanted. And the big thing about that is Bruce Brown only played 7 minutes of that game. Double overtime game. You think he would play more, especially when he is your best perimeter defender. That Joe Harris played over 40 minutes per game, so clearly Steve Nash just wanted offense over defense, I guess. But at some point, you're going to have to care about the defense side of the ball just a little bit. Like I said, Bruce Brown, he can hit a couple threes maybe, but he is easily the best perimeter defender they have, at least. Ball perimeter defender. I like Jeff Green overall team defense a little bit more, but if you need a guy to guard a one-on-one, Bruce Brown was that guy, and he just didn't play. They tried to put Jeff Green on him late in the game. Colin Sexton was just way too hot already. Was too late for that. But it's pretty clear the Nets have 3 roster spots available. And they're gonna have to either sign some bodies, or trade for some bodies. But I was looking at it. The only tradable contract on the team, unless you're going to somehow trade Luke Shamit, who's only making $2 million, I don't know what team's going to give up some rookie that is decent for $2 million, because I wouldn't imagine the Nets traded for a project. I would imagine they trade for a right now type of guy. So I really doubt they get a rookie. The only tradable contract in my eyes is Joe Harris, makes around $15 million per year. And the first thought, shooting, guard, Magic, perfect. Aminu's right in that price range. They can maybe get like a second-round pick as well for Aminu, just because Joe Harris is better than Aminu. But that type of guy, if you want to go a different route, I thought San Antonio with Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay, he's not much of a defender at all, honestly, but he can get you some points, and he's a tall, lengthy guy, so he's just a body. He's simply just a body you can go with. And here's the thing with the Nets. They don't have any picks to play with, so they can't trade picks. It's going to have to be Joe Harris, maybe another guy straight up for another player. Like I said, no picks to play with. And that's why I like the Aminu trade as well. At least you probably get like a second-round pick. But it's those type of guys, those lengthy guys that can just add an extra body to your team for a team that desperately needs them, that cannot play defense at all. I honestly don't even know their defensive rating. I don't need to even look. I just know it's bad. It doesn't take just takes eyeballs to see that they're not a very good defensive team. Another trade I was thinking about was maybe Iguodala, Joe Harris would fit into the off ball, shoot the 3 role with the Miami Heat. I think he would fit right in. Iguodala is a big piece, I feel like, to them for their bench, at least when Goran's out the game, to just slow the game down, control the game, not let it get out of hand. We saw last year in the playoffs when Iguodala was not in the game. When Iguodala and Dragic and Butler were not in the game, it turned pretty bad for the Heat pretty fast. Iguodala he's getting up there. He's fast. He's declining very fast. But I think you play a great role, a great 12, 15 at most minutes per game on a team like the Warriors with Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. You simply don't need him to do anything. He's not going to be a ball handler ever, just simply because they will always have either Kyrie, Harden, or KD playing. And if he's just there to simply play defense, any sort of defense, I think he'll fit in fantastic with the Nets. That will be a good fit. It just depends what the Heat wants to do. Like I said, I think Joe Harris, another great shooter for the Heat. The Heat love to do Spoelstra loves to do the off-ball movement, a lot of threes. They make a lot of threes. They shoot a lot of threes. But yeah, so I think he'd be a great fit with the Heat. And that's another one where they can probably get like a second-round pick as well. They can just add another pick to your lack thereof. And the last one is, I don't think that this one's probably the least likely, but maybe it could happen. And I would imagine the Pistons might want to get off him soon just because his value is at an all-time high, as he's playing really well right now, is Jerry Grant. He's another guy like Aminu, just better than me. He can score a lot better than Aminu, so that's why he's just flat out better. But lengthy guy, pretty quick. Um, and just another type of defender they need. Just he's a glue guy. And like I said, he's been scoring the ball really well this year, which I could not imagine it could be too hard to score when you're 6'8" with like a 7'2" wingspan. He's long and can score the ball pretty well. And that's another type of guy. Like I said, I don't know if the Pistons would do it. I think they should just because, again, Aminu's value is at an all-time high. And if you think you can get 3 years out of him that's playing at this level, I would say good luck. I don't think so just because he's already, 28, 29 years old. He's never played at this before. Granted, on the Nuggets and all, he never really had the opportunity with Jokic, Murray, Gary Harris when Gary Harris was an offensive player, Will Barton, all that. They've had plenty of depth, so he never really got the opportunity to. But I think it's the least likely, although the four name between Aminu, Rudy Gay, Iguodala, and Jerry and Grant obviously is the least likely out of all four of them. But I think it is possible. And another option was just wait it out. There's always players towards the deadline who get waived. I think a real potential is looking at it is just based off their signing situation, having so many big men. McGee has a possibility of getting waived. That would be a huge. If they could get McGee, that would be ginormous for them. The only problem with McGee is, like DeAndre Jordan, if you play him more than 20 minutes per game, it tends to go down south pretty fast. But I think between Jordan getting 15, McGee getting 15, and playing the rest with small ball-ish, Jeff Green. They ran a little Jeff Green at center. They can switch everything with Jeff Green at center. So stagger Jordan, McGee, and play small ball for some of that as well. I think that could work. It would be better than what they have for sure. And the other option, like I said, three roster spots available. You can always hit the waiver wire. The only notable guys I could find that would fit into what they need would be, let's see here, I wrote them down. Gerald Green, he's getting older, but he can play a 3-and-D role all right. Hollis Jefferson, he was a Timberwolf. I mean, he's not going to score, but they don't need anyone to score. They just need defense. Deadman and Gilchrist, I just put them both together just because I think those two are the safest bets. I like Deadman. I think he still has a place. He can shoot the three decently, and he's tall. He can just guard the rim pretty well. Has a little bit pick and roll defense. He's not that good at. None of these guys are going to be spectacular, but play a little pick and roll defense, shoot the three, and he's just a big body, protect the rim. Kid Gilchrist, he cannot play offense whatsoever, but I think he's by far the best on-ball defender on this list of free agents I have. So I think he's a valuable option. He's also 6'9", lengthy, so he can play that Jeff Green type of game, just less offense because Kid Gilchrist cannot score. Let's see, DeMarre Carroll, another veteran. He's really getting up there. He's shown decline a lot with the Rockets. He lost a lot of his shot. His defense was not that good towards the end of the year. But I think he's another player that veteran player with KD, Kyrie, and Harden can fit in well with this group. I think he would obviously know his role. I think he would play it tough and play it good enough or better than what they have. Let's see. Mbah a Moute, again, I think he might be just washed, but if you wanted to try that route, he played well at the Rockets. He didn't really play much after that, but played all right. And Mahimi, another guy, big body, can shoot a little bit. That's not too bad of an option. I would take Dwayne Dedmon over Mahimi, but I think he could still have a place in the league. Like I said, 3 roster spots, plenty of options to go with this with those spots. If I had to pick my favorite for these, I would go Iguodala. I think that works for both teams. Or I would go with the risk of Rudy Gay just because I just don't like Aminu's lack of offense. And they shouldn't need offense, but I think in the league, every player on the court is going to have to play some bit of offense, and Aminu cannot do that. Grant's probably best case scenario. I just think that's so unlikely to happen still. So Iguodala, Rudy Gay is more likely. I put Iguodala first just because he can hit corner threes. As Max Homer said, I want Iguodala. And Rudy Gay, he's getting up there as well, but he's a big body, big enough body with a solid offensive game. Now for the last thing I want to talk about the Hawks, more specifically Trae Young and John Collins feud. Like I said, I'm really late on this news just because I haven't done this in a while. But John Collins and Trae Young, the Hawks have been struggling in general. They've lost a lot. They started out really hot, lost. They're eighth in defensive rating, which I find really surprising, but they've fallen all the way down to 16th in offensive rating while they were top 5 for the first 5 games of the year. And a lot of this, and John Collins reporting locker room, film session breakout. I'm sure you guys all heard the story, but they're watching film. John Collins personally went out Trae Young. And I think a lot of it is Lloyd Pierce. There's not much going on with Lloyd Pierce. I think it's just too much pick and roll, not enough movement. But I think a big reason for John Collins acting this way is John Collins was betting on himself. The Hawks offered him an extension. John Collins was asking for a max. The Hawks didn't want to give him a max. So he didn't accept the extension, and he was really betting on himself for a max deal this offseason. Right now, John Collins is averaging 16, 7, and 1.5. So, I mean, like, he's shooting pretty efficiently, though, I will say. He's shooting 53%, 35% of 3 threes per game. So nothing. 35% is not bad. Only 3 threes per game. That's not too much. I think a real problem for Collins when I get the max though is he doesn't want to play center. He wants to play power forward. Which I understand he doesn't want to verse the bigger guys, but I think if he could be willing to play center for some of the game or most of the game on some teams, I guess that could be a big thing with his ability to shoot a couple threes a game. But power forward, only shooting 3 threes per game. 35% is not bad. It's not great, though. I think it becomes more of a hindrance overall to the offense. But with that said, his off-on numbers are fantastic. They are plus 11 net rating with him on the court, minus 11 without him on the court. And a big thing from this year to last year is he's averaging 3 less possessions per game. So that could also stir the pot a little bit. Not getting the max he wants, and he's also averaging 3 less possessions per game. And Trae Young has just been, after his super, super hot start, he has just been horrid recently. His last 10 games, averaging 37% from the field, 27% from 3. And he's just chucking shots. He's chucking a lot of shots. And I think a lot of it is Lloyd Pierce putting a lot of the offense on him, which I understand. Trae Young, pretty dynamic player. But he's 6 foot. I think he's listed at 6'1", but I'm gonna give him 6 foot, maybe 5'11". He looks pretty small. And you just cannot have the whole offense rest on his shoulders, especially with the loaded offensive team you have. You have Gallinari, Bogdanovich. Huerta is playing very well this year. Collins is good. And yeah, so but I will say Trae Young also is not shooting as many free throws per game. Let me see it real fast, but if you guys do remember earlier in the year, I have not watched every single Trae Young game, but I know early in the year he was averaging around 11, 12 free throws per game. And now last 10 games he's averaging 8. So he's averaging less free throws per game. And I think a reason for that is that they stopped giving him, I don't know if you guys saw, but he would come off pick and rolls and the guy would be going over because they don't want him to shoot threes, feel him on his back, shoot with volley on his back, and get the foul call every time. Like I said, I haven't watched every game. My guess is they stopped calling it. I know Thibodeau was complaining about it. I want to say Charles Barkley. I forgot which NBA player or ex-NBA player was also complaining about it, but there's a lot of people complaining about it overall. And I think they might just stop giving those free throws, so that could do it. And but I think a real thing with this team is that they might have too many players. So this might be a perfect time to get rid of John Collins and get some picks out of this. And I think the main team I want to talk about, the only team I want to talk about really, is the Nuggets. Let me see where the Nuggets are in the standings. I believe they're around 500. I haven't checked though. Yeah, they're 7-7. So they're starting to do a little better than what they were, but they've been a 500 team around the whole year. So I think John Collins and Jokic would be a very dynamic front court with Collins with Jokic passing. Collins' athleticism and shooting. It could be a lot. It could be lobs. It could be kickouts from the post. I think that could work. And I think a simple deal would be I had it written. I did not have it written down. I mean, I have it right here though. Give me 1 second. It was Collins for real quick. The Nuggets do have all their picks, or most of their picks. They do have a swap with the Thunder. I don't know where they got the swap from. I want to say it's a Grant trade. I don't know for sure. But they did a swap, so it'd have to be like a 2021 first, a 2025 first, and then throw in some cap with I can't, it's not letting me freaking okay. With Zeke, Ninanji. I don't know much about him honestly, but he's cheap and around the cap, including PJ Dozier. He actually plays a little bit this year, but don't know much about him. I think the Nuggets would still do it in a heartbeat. The only issue is 2025 is well down the road. But I think especially with John Collins, when you get a guy and he could fill in. Actually, I don't know. With Paul Millsap is expiring, they might move him. They might waive him. He's not making much. He's only making $1 million, so they could move him. They could waive him. They could get rid of him. But the only problem is the 2025 draft pick. That's pretty far down the road. But I think with a young trio with Jokic, Murray, and now Collins, I think they'll be just fine. That pick won't be worth too much. The Hawks get more picks with their already pretty loaded team. And I say loaded, I just mean a lot of depth, but it just gets some more picks on their hands. And Danilo Gallinari has not seen much rotation time recently. I think he can get back into rotation and he will be all set to go. And that's pretty much all. I think like I said, Lloyd Pierce, he's going to come up with an offense, or I think he's gone this season just because it's been rough recently. Nets, just get some defense. That's all I need. I didn't want to talk about the offense just because the offense will be just fine. Like I've said before, like I said today, the trade happened. Kevin Durant doesn't need the ball. James Harden passes the ball enough, and Kyrie Irving does not pass as much, but he is okay at off the ball movement and can score. So their offense will be just fine. They're going to be the best offense in the league, potentially the best offense ever. They could pass the Mavs from last season, yes. And a Kevin Porter trade, little risk for the Rockets. Only give him 1 second, but high reward if Kevin Porter can come into himself, play catch and shoot, play some good defense. That could be a very competitive team to have and competitive future overall. And yeah, that's pretty much all from me. Thank you for coming by. Like I said, I'll have another episode. I'm gonna record it right after this, so pretty much right after I end this, but it will be out tomorrow around 12. Just kind of want to sign that. And yeah, thank you for coming by the Halftime Hangout. Until next time, peace.